Hello, grade 10. We're going to do our PAT now for 2022. The scenario that you have to use is a game. They've given us some examples of the types of educational games that you can make for your program. And today I will be trying to make this match memory game. Now you must remember that this is going to be for junior school learners. I'm going to do a simple times table program. So we start by opening Delphi, go File, New, VCL Forms application. Make your screen large enough so you can big working space. And File, Save All. Put it in a folder where you know you're going to find it again, and make sure you name your folder correctly. Grade 10. Forget about your name. Folder, and save. Now, of course, you'd want to put a nice caption on the top of the form. I'm not going to do that. You can do it. You also now need to get into your tool palette and look for page control. Because you have to have for screens or windows or forms. You're going to use a page control with tab sheet. Easiest and the best way to do it. You can limit your page control to take over the whole form. You might have to change the size later on again. Leave a space at the bottom. You'll see why just now. Now for your page control, make sure you name your page control. I'll call it PGC. And then you right click on structure. In the structure, you right click on the page control and you use new page. Now we're going to put all pages on here. And we're going to name them. So you click on the tab sheet and give them a name. TBS start. Again. Second tab sheet. I'm going to say TBS because you have to choose a level. That'll be my levels or avatars. Then the third tab sheet will be for beginner or level 1. And another tab sheet for the level 2 EBS 2-player, more difficult in other words. That's the basic setup. Now we've got to put buttons on our form. I'm going to put a button right at the bottom here underneath this page control so that we can navigate to the start button if we wish to at any time. I'm going to call it BTN. I'll give your components names. And in this button, double click the button. Wait, you can't see my code very well, so I'm going to go to Tools and Options. Increase the size of code. Go here to the display of the editor. You can change the size to whatever you wish. A bit large, but better that you see it. Then I'm going to type in your pgc.active page equals TBS start. My start tab sheet. When we run the code, we'll know that we'll go to the start tab sheet whenever we click this button. Don't forget, you must put proper captions on all of your things. We're going to try and get it so that we don't have these tabs at the top. We're going to make the tab visible false at the end of our program. Now we need to have a welcome screen here and a button to navigate to the levels. So you must put in a nice welcome screen to welcome the people to the game and explain what they have to do. I'm not going to go there, you're going to do it. I'm just calling my button BT and level so I can go to the level screen. So the first tab sheet here, I start, don't forget you must decorate it so that everyone knows what they're going to be doing. And button must go to the PBS levels, go to the next page. So we use our PC of active page equals, and then we can put in TBS level or avatar, we want to call it. So there's the levels page. Now, the nice thing to do would have pictures on panels. So when they click on, well, we can put two images, yeah, or two images on a panel. I'm just going to look for images, image component, one image over here, and another image over here. And just so that it's, remember we are working for junior school children, and mine is going to be a mathematics program, and I'm going to call my image IMG level 1. This image can be IMG level 2. Now, where do we get images from? Well, you can either draw an image in Paint and save it as a JPG file. You open Paint, doing now, and I'm not good at this, so I am going to call, no, is it? That's not going to work either. Be able to scribble. Not really good at this, as you can see. I think you are all going to be much better at it than I am. Anyway, if you made an image and you colored it in, then you go File, and in Save As, make sure you save it as a JPEG picture, because you could have a problem getting it into your program. Another thing is, if you do have a picture that is not a JPG file, then you need to open it with Paint, save it as, like I've just shown you now. Another way to get pictures is to go online and make sure you Google free pictures. I'm looking for free pictures of dogs and puppies. And then I'm going to site where I'm going to find them. It must be on a site that allows you to use the pictures. Going here to this particular one, first one I see. And let me right click, save image as. And then save it, I'm going to save it again. And you can change the name here. We'll call this level 1. Save, and then I'll right click on the other one I want. Save image as. And we'll call this one. You see it says web level 2. Now we already got a file there in our picture in our folder where we saved it, which is not what we want. So go and open it with, and right click on it. Allows me to open with, and there's Paint. If you don't see Paint, Click on choose another app. We open it with Paint, we go File, Save As. Oops. Click to Property, File, Save As, and move your mouse to JPEG picture. And then navigate to the place where you want to save it. Now you'll see it'll be a JPEG picture. Working fine. You just have to close it. Delete this other one in the folder. Right, now we're going to go and load our pictures into our image components. This is my IMG level 1. Go to the picture property, load, navigate to the folder, which it does automatically go to the correct folder, click OK. Now you can't see your picture properly, so you say the stretch must be true. You can resize it any way you want. Then the next picture, I'm going to go to the picture property of that image component there, picture, and load do one. Okay, obviously you can do a better job than I am doing. I am doing this. Hurry. Now you need to have a label here for the user to know what they're going to do, and this must be labeled clearly level 1. Tell them to click on these options. When they click on this picture, we want to go to this tab sheet level 1. So I'm going to click on the picture, go to events, and on click, and we see, say, pgc.active page equals TBS level 1. We'll do the same with the other picture. Click on the picture, go to the on-click events of the picture, and we'll do the same. And I like to copy and paste. That is what I'm doing, and we'll make that level 2. Now you know when you run your program, you're able to go to all the different tab sheets. Now take note that the main tab sheet did not open. Levels takes us to levels. That picture takes us there. Picture takes us there. There's only one other thing that we need to do is to make sure that when we on show event of the form, that we are going to the PBS start. So either on show, on activate is fine. On activate, we'll make sure that we're going to the PBS start. Okay, don't forget to do file save all. So now that's the actual basic structure that we will be using to our PAT. So if it's level 1, we know we're going to this tab sheet. Now we have to set up this. The description they gave us here, the 20 pictures, 10 for a question and 10 for an answer, we're going to put them onto the screen. Fine. I'm going to use a group box. Questions. You type in group from group box and draw a big box on your tab sheet. And I'm going to type group box again and get another group box. The reason why I'm using a group box because it's got a nice little caption there at the top. Caption property which shows that that is a group box. You can change your color so you could possibly differentiate between the two. Change the color of the actual tab sheet itself. That's all possible. Better just put a panel and change color. Tab sheets do not have colors. Group boxes, yeah, group boxes have a color. Make a color on our group box for the questions and one for the answers. Be our background. Differentiate between the two. And you see that this caption there is now a little bit so visible, so you might have to put in a label at the top. So I will make this one purple for the group box at the top there. We'll just change the caption and say questions and contain the questions, and you can change your font size of this to whatever you want and so on. Visible, you can make it look much better than mine, I'm sure. For my caption on my other group box, I will make that caption there, answers, and you have to describe in detail what the user must do for each of these group boxes. The way it's going to happen. Now, what it will happen is that there'll be 10 questions over here, 10 questions of answers over here. The user is going to click on any random question here and find, and then randomly click on any possible answers on the right hand side. Now, this is very tricky indeed. So you have to really be careful and have your wits about you. I'm going to make this larger because we need 10. I'm going to use panels and labels. 10 panels and 10 labels. Good idea to actually keep your group boxes of the same size. I'm not going there right now. You can go and look at this, the height and the width of each group box. Make sure that they are the same. The width is there. The height is over here. So you can change your height and your width group box to make sure they're equal in size. There's going to be 10 panels on each. So let's go and put the panels, but we have to name the panels. That is the big thing. We want the panels to be of the same size too. As you can see, that panel will change the color of the panel to goes green because the group box is green. Okay, you can change your panel to any color. You need to give this panel a name because it's going to hold question 1. So I'm going to say PNL question 1. Now, the reason why I'm only making one because I'm copy it, Control C. Let's see if I can paste it a whole lot of times. Supposed to be 10. 1, 2, 3. Normally, copying and pasting a component doesn't actually work so well, but we will see it does. Copy it one more time. We want 5. 5 down, 5 across. Like I can actually change the size of my group box considerably. Now you can see that all these panels have been given the same name, which is not acceptable. Panel got copied onto the other one. Idea, hey? And make sure you click on the group box, Control V to paste. So a tricky business. Now, for my answers, obviously guys, you're going to do a better job than me. Hey? I'm actually copying it there too. 1, 2. Oops. You know what I did there? I just copied them all inside each other. Tube. Absolutely. Time I delete it, seems to go off to another page. I'm just busy trying to delete these panels. They're very tricky. Me. Or V. That wasn't right. make sure we clicked onto the group box whenever we paste. Like I said, I'm not trying to make things pretty. You're going to do that, I'm sure. Take note, I have to click on the group box and then paste. Right, so this is a long drawn out process. Just because seriously, there's a way you can move everything at once. You just click on one, hold the shift key and click on the others. I want to move all of these buttons to the right a bit. I hold the shift key while I select them and then I can just move them like that. Okay, sizing is not 100%, as you can see. But that's as much as I can manage right now. You will do a better job then. Sure. Okay, now we're going to name all of these panels, and we better make sure we name them properly. There's a caption property on each one. We'll have to get rid of all the captions. So I've got panel 1, that's panel question 1. Let's make sure the name property. We go to the name property. Naming is everything, fine. Then this one will be P&L question 2. I'm just going to go down. And that will be P&L question 3. This will be question 4. Will be P&L question 5. Question 6. First, we've got to get rid of the captions. Seven, 8, 9. 10. Now we're going to go to the answers and we're going to call it P&L answer 1. Actually, we need to do this randomly. I'm not going to call it answer 1, I'll call it answer 3. This one can be P&L answer 6. I'm going to put them in random places. This will be P&L answer 1. And down here, we'll make it P&L answer 2. And yes, I'm going to forget P&L answer 10. Make that one P&L answer 9. And I will make P&L answer 6. So tell me if I'm naming something this. So make this one P&L answer 5. Make sure you type your names properly because you're going to need that. Let's make 3, 6. Make this one P&L answer 4. 1, 9. I've got left out 7, 2. There, we can go and look over here. See your structure list? 1. So those are the questions. Let's go to the answers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. Okay. We'll make this and go answer 8. And That one will be up there. Now answer 7. You have to make them randomly organized around on this side. Can't be equal 1, 2, 3, otherwise it's so obvious where the answers to the questions are. Now we've got to get rid of all of those captions. Very important. Don't want any captions. So one, then delete the caption. Do it like this because you're only dealing with one property at a time. Easy and quicker to go and do this. This is all before runtime. We're going to put labels on each of these panels which will contain the questions, and we'll put labels on each of the answer panels to contain the answers. Right, so now here comes the fun part. Coding. How are we going to get the questions onto the panels? Well, we have to put labels on all of them, first of all, because the labels are, it's much easier that way. You know, I guess we could put captions on the panels. That is true. Yeah, let's just keep it with captions. So the word wrap doesn't work captions, but if you want to put labels as well, so fine. We'll leave it like it is. Although no. The reason why I want to put labels is because you have to have, when the user, this is how it must work. If the player selects a picture, the picture is shown. In other words, the question is shown. And when they click on another block, well, they'll see the answers all randomly on the other blocks on the right-hand side. And if the answer is correct, then we're going to have both of those panels and will be disabled and invisible. One that the question and the answer thing. So when it clicks on one of these, we want to see the question, and then we're going to choose one of these answers. And if they choose the right one, then both of these panels, that one and that one, if that's the right answer, they'll both disappear. And if they're incorrect, then we want to turn the question back again. We want to hide the question over here. We'll keep the answers all visible, but we'll hide the questions when they're found. If they click on a question, you can see the question, then they're going to go choose an answer. But if the answer is incorrect, then that question will just become invisible. But the panel will still be there. But if they choose correct, then both these panels disappear. The question and the answer panel disappear. It's quite confusing, but if you read through this, then you will see what I'm talking about. Now, let's say putting the pictures face down. I'm going to leave the answers visible all the time. The questions will get hidden here again. Anyway, so we've got to put labels on. We want to hide question. I would rather use a label on each one of these. So, label 1, or C. That is just the caption property that is doing that, okay? Not the name of the label. You'll see they are called label 1, 2, 3. We're going to go through each one of these labels and change the names. Very important that we change the names. So this is going to be easy for this side. We're going to call the names of the labels LBL question 1. This one will be LBL question 2. And this process is very important. The names are being changed. The name of the label, not the panel, the name of the label. So click on the label. We've already changed the name of the panel. Question 3. And then click on the label. And you might think, oh, what a waste of time. But actually, if you don't do this, it's going to be difficult to code. This program is a lot more difficult than what you imagine. This label will be LBL 8. This label will be LBL question 9 because of its position here. This label will be LBL question 10. I'm just using a Q10. Take note, I'll put the LBL in front of it. Now I'm going to clear the caption properties. That's quite important. I don't want the program starting off with these labels. If you think this is tricky, wait until you get to the code. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the right-hand side. Now, we must remember that we have panels with different names. This is PNL answer 3. So the label I must call, name of this label must be LBL answer 3. And if this label sitting on panel answer 10, so the name of this label must be LBL answer 10. Don't do this right, struggle with the rest of the code, believe me. So this is label panel. You can actually go to the top of here. See, that's also a better way to do it. LBL answer 1. LBL. Make sure you name it. I did LBK. Then we're going to go to this label over here. I'm going to click over there because I can see the panel name. LBL, oops, LBL answer 2. I'm just going to the ones I haven't named. This is LBL answer 4 because it's on PNL answer 4. LBL answer 4. This prep is extremely important. And this is LBL answer 5. Otherwise, you lose marks if you haven't named your components or your variables properly. LBL answer 6. And this is LBL answer 7. LBL 8. This is LBL. So 9. I have to put these randomly on this group box. Of course, got to. Now we're going to go to the caption property of each one of those and remove the caption. Yes, I know. Where it is. Yeah. Click on the label, remove the caption. Right thing to do. Now this is only for level 1. Whatever we do in level 1, we're going to do again in level 2, but with different questions. And we have to randomize our questions. We also have to randomize, well, work out the answers after we randomize the questions. And this is how we're going to do it. In the on-show event, we are going to put the questions in all of these labels and the answers in all of those labels. Big job. So you go and click on your tab sheet for TBS level 1. Everything is named properly. You can go check it over here in your structure list. And because that's very important, we're going to refer to all those panels and labels. You go to TVS level 1, go to events, and you use the on-show event to set up this tab sheet. So in the on-show event of the tab sheet, we set it up. So what are we going to do? We want to multiply a random number by another random number and put it in each of those labels and display it. So first of all, we need two random numbers, rand1 and rand2. So enter. Now for beginners, I want to use a random number from 2 to 5. Multiply, going to be times table multiplication questions. Remember, if you're going to use random range, which we are going to use, go and put it into your math, into your user section. Okay. So where are we? Over here. Here's the on-show event, TVS level 1 show. That's why you name your components very carefully. Right, now we're going to generate a random number, but we want two different random numbers. I don't want 2 times 2 or 3 times 3. This is what I don't want. I'm going to repeat generating two random numbers, random range. Bottom limit is 2, the top limit is 5, therefore 6 is used, and random number 2, rand2 will be the same, and we're going to repeat until rand1 is not equal to rand. Okay. Then we're going to build a string called sline1. That is going to go in my question 1. Sline1 equals into string rand2 plus, and then a symbol of a times, plus into string, actually rand1 times rand2, isn't it? Rand2. So we're going to make this string, and we're going to put it into where? We're going to put it into the label called LBL question 1. But we, yeah. We'll say LBL question 1 dot caption colon equals sline1. Fine. But we want to do that how many times? 10 times, not so. You can have 10 questions. So sline1 and sline2, sline3, sline4, unfortunately we can't use arrays, 5, and if you knew how to use it, you don't have to use text files either. It would be easy with text files, but I'm doing it a difficult way. Because text files don't have to have text files. Just, and if you want. Now we're going to copy and paste this 10 times. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just enter in between. All you have to do is go and change your S-lines 2, S-line 3, line 4, line 5, S-line 6, S-line 7, S-line 8, is 9, 10. Now, another thing we should have done in between each of these repeat loops, we should have randomized. Call the randomize procedure. It's a procedure because you write it by itself. Randomize is supposed to make sure that different numbers are generated. Not sure if it works, but we will use it anyway, just in case it does work. Randomize before each repeat loop. Right, so we got all of that. Now we've got to go and fill the captions with all of those lines. You've got LBL question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All you need to do is change the numbers over here. LBL question 5 says it doesn't exist. See if we spelled question 5 right. LBL 5. That read underline out. Let's go and check out our LBL question 5. In our structure list over here on P&L question 5, there you go. Do you see? Not named properly. Made a mistake writing it. So all of those little things count. Question. That'll be fine. Right, back to our code. Oops. So after we've done that, well, there's one thing we forgot to do in each of our repeat loops. We have to calculate our answer. And we are going to have answers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as global variables. Of course, rather important. Keep track of our answer 1, our answer 2, our answer 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, integer. Now I've always told you not to use too many global variables in this instance. We have to. And inside each one of these, we're going to calculate the answer, and they will be stored into random numbers. I ran 1 times I ran 2. The actual answers times, I don't need to make them into global variables. I can just store them into the panels. But I actually can just store it into the other label. So let's go and do that. Okay. So instead of making all these global variables here, we'll just put it straight onto the panel property of the label answer labels. Here are the labels in there in the panels. Remember, they're all named. So find the names. LBL answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have them on the panel, so we don't need to make global variables. They'll be stored as captions on these panels. And for each run, they'll be different because, code again, for each run, we have a different answer because there'll be random numbers. So LBL answer 1 dot caption be equal to an integer times an integer is an integer. Say if we say int string, only when you divide that you have to work with real numbers. So here we go, let's highlight that and Control C and copy it into each of the other repeat loops after. Okay, maybe it shouldn't be there, hey? Should be after the random numbers are generated. After each random number is generated, we will go and put that into that's going to be answer number 2. That will be answer number 3. You know, LBL answer 2 dot captions giving us a problem, so we have to go and figure it after the loop is generate the numbers. We'll go and put the answer into LBL answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And remember that second run of the loop of this, you got the repeat loop running 10 times. After each loop, we go and calculate the answer and put it into the appropriate label. And we also get our string that we're going to put into the LBL question 1, 2. See, I just did it like that. I didn't have to. I could have put straight into. I didn't really need S line 1, 2. Get what I mean? Oop. Let's go and put this here before on 5. So it's LBL answer 5. This is LBL answer 6. And this is LBL answer 7. So you can imagine if you're making a mistake here, then would have a program not running properly. So you have to be very careful about what we do here. There we have those being done. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We've got to go and check out our label called LBL answer 2. Don't forget to do file save all. You never know, you could lose something. Don't use all your hard work. That wouldn't be a good idea. PNL answer 2 does not have a label on it. You have to figure it, set one down there. So let's go and get a label on it. Just type label in my search and then I go and put it on. So that is going to be called name LBO answer 2. Okay, and we've got to get rid of the caption. Just okay, I'll save all, run the program and see what's happening. Go to levels, choose level 1. There we have times table. We have some duplicate questions here. Do you see that? Not so nice. Really like that. But it's okay. It's for junior school kids. Now you can center your captions over here. So what we want to do is when we click on one of these, then we must see the question. The answers are going to stay like this. Okay, the answers stay like this. Because we're going from 2 to 6, which is why we have such a lot of duplication here. 2 to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 4 different options we can choose. Hey, could maybe make the random number from 1 to 6 if you want. So, you know, we could make it 1 to 5, in other words. I'm just trying to make it really easy for the junior school learners. And I purposely made it so that we can't, there's no two random numbers will be the same, but that's also not necessary. You can decide if you don't want to do that. Anyway, so the tricky part's going to happen now. We've got all our questions and answers onto, when we click the button, we've got all the questions and answers onto our screen. Yeah, you see now there's a duplicate over there. Not so good. Could randomize in between each random number. Although I don't think that's going to make any difference. No, because we already did this until Rn1. Take away this repeat loop and you probably get different numbers. So I'm going to leave it as it is. The tricky part comes with what we're going to do. Now, in our on-show event of this tab sheet, event on show, this is where we were putting all the labels into the different filling all the labels with our questions and answers. Other thing that we have to do is have a score. We want to keep a score of everything. We're going to keep a score. So we know that the score can go up to 10. 10 questions. Get a question right to get a point. And in our on-activate event, we will go and set that I score to on-activate event of the form. Set I score. Take note, this is not on-activate event of the tab sheet. Although, when you think about it, actually, I score should be set to 0 in the on-show event of the tab sheet. So let's go and set I score to 0 in the on-show event of this tab sheet. Right. Next thing we're going to do is make a label on the form somewhere. In the top there, or over here. No, go put it over here. A label or a fancy label. You must make it fancy. I'm just doing basics. I'm going to say, oh no, get rid of the caption property. And over here, called LBL score. In the on-show event of this form, this tab sheet, say LBL score equals your score is plus into string score. Going to start at 0, and you can use your word wrap property of the label to make sure that find LBL score over here. There it is. Make the word wrap true. If there is not enough space, then we can show the score. Okay, what else are we going to do in on-show event? There's other things we have to do. We have to make all the questions invisible. Just want the panel showing. All the questions must be invisible. And yeah, let's go to the on-show event. All those labels that we just put captions on, see all of these labels? Well, we have to make visible property false for each of the label. But visible equals false. So this is what I'm going to do. I like to copy and paste, guys. I copied and pasted all that code, and now all I'm going to do is this. You don't need to be typing all the time. You have to use copy and paste in order to make the programming easier and quicker and without any errors. It really is important that you use copy and paste regularly, used to the idea. Right, now, there's just one other thing. You have to think carefully, something else that we have to do in this on show event of the tab sheet. If we want to keep track of which question is matching which answer, we need to have some kind of a flag to say, okay, this question is now being asked. So I've decided to use Boolean variables, and they will be global. And I set them true and false whenever the question is being asked and when it's not being asked, and so on. The questions for when the panel is clicked, we're going to set Boolean flags. But remember, we always need to initialize our counters. Good idea to initialize our Boolean flags. I just call them B1 to 10. Going to then initialize them to false in our on-show event. So they were global, okay? On-show event of the tab sheet. B1. So B1 equals false. So this is quite easy to copy really when you think about it. Eight, 9, 10. So that's fine. File save all. When you run the program, you'll see, oops, make sure forward dot caption might be a good idea. Caption properties even make mistakes. Okay. Easy. So there's just always ignored. You see there's no pictures here, but when we click on the panel, I'm going to leave the answers there, and then they must choose the correct answer. So they're going to click on a question, and then they will click on an answer. And if the answer is correct, then both the panel they clicked on originally. But when they click on the question, they will see the question. So you're going to click on a random panel, and then the question will appear. So let's go and make that happen, hey? In the next episode. See you later.